Hello, 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 everybody. This is Roxanne. This is Alchemy of Acrimony. This is my second video. So I'm currently on live right now. Sorry if there's any problems with the mic or the volume, or I know I have my backdrop as blurry, but so anywho, I just thought I'd pop on here. I know I made my very first video a few days back. I believe it was on the 24th or the 25th. Um, so I had some views since then, and I'm really proud of that. I'm very happy that people clicked and hopefully watched and got a little bit of just the gist of my channel and what I'm trying to do here and how I'm trying to connect and interact with my viewers. And so I thought today that I would come on here and give you guys an oracle reading. I really felt called and drawn to a healing deck that I have. I know a lot of you with me, I don't know what it is, but I keep feeling the struggle of waking up, just on a day to day basis. I know back when I was going through my divorce, the very beginning stages of it, it was hard to get out of bed. It was very hard to face the day. It was hard to get all my priorities in order. It was, and I still held on to my job, even though, like I mentioned in my first video, that I had a job only working a couple hours a day, and that was even difficult for me. Even knowing too that I'm going to work and I need more money than what I am bringing in, because my home, I had purchased a house. We purchased a house together, and this was like a year prior to our split. And so that's a huge purchase, a huge everything, the water, the gas, the trash, everything gets tacked on. It's not an apartment where, you don't have water, you don't have trash. I know some places are like that, but that's what we were used to. We even lived in low income apartments for, I think, maybe 6, 7 years prior to that. And we raised our kids there mostly at the low income community, which I'm very thankful for, that they have those communities where the state picks up the remainder of the rent if you qualify income wise. And so back then that was a huge help because we had a lot of children. We had four. So we did qualify. And so, that was our home in the meantime until we grew over time. And then one day we said, okay, think we're ready to purchase a home. And so we did. That only lasted a year. And that year of home ownership was crazy financially. So when he left, like I said, it was a hard deal. I was only working 2 hours a day. So that financially, what I was getting up every day and going to work for, to me, felt like nonsense, because it was like I couldn't even, manage to get up and brush my hair, let alone go to a job that I knew, why am I going? I'm not making any money. I couldn't even pay. When he left, I couldn't manage to, all I was doing was keeping the lights on, and I wasn't paying the mortgage. I kept the light and gas on for my kids and the water. And, I said, this is all I can do with the money that I was making. And I had no room for extra whatsoever. It was a lot of beans and rice. I grew up on beans and rice and tortillas. That's what I grew up on. I love that stuff. I love cup of noodles. I love top ramen. Actually, I choose that over anything else. But when you have, four kids and you don't have a lot in your bank account, you're trying to stretch your dollar. So, like I said, I kept getting like struggling to wake up, struggling to get through the day, struggling just to get by and to go to that job or to make ends meet or to wonder how you're going to do it. And at the end of the day, you open your eyes first thing in the morning or whenever you wake up, and you think, I just don't want to deal with this day. I don't want to do it. I want to go back to sleep. And I want to live in the dream realm of things where I don't have to deal with reality. That was something very major for me. It even got to the point where my parents had to come and pull me out of my slump. I shut off the world. I didn't want to converse with anybody. I even shut off with my parents. I disconnected. I refused phone calls. They were calling my kids just to get a hold of me because I wouldn't answer, wasn't taking phone calls. I didn't want to talk. There is way more to that story that I have not shared yet. Like I said in my first video, I went through a big mental switch up. It was heavy. It was very dark. I was dealing with depression, severe anxiety, severe PTSD. These are things that I got diagnosed with. This is not just something that I figured that I had. I actually got diagnosed with these things. Now, this was prior because in the works up to him leaving, we fought a lot. And there are a lot of things that I didn't share in the first video because, like I said, it's too much to touch base on. But for some reason, I kept getting um, not being able to get out of bed, not being able to wake up, not being able to go about your day, not being able to, uh, you know, just deal with the day to day and with the kids and getting them off to school. And I mean, literally on my days off I was in bed. When my parents popped up, it was on the weekend, and they were like, my dad literally was like, get the fuck out of bed, excuse my language. I'm not going to sugarcoat things as much as the first video. When I rewatched it, I kind of felt like, because I'm a newbie to being on camera, to with technology, with all of this stuff, I toned myself down a lot, um, because I don't want to scare anybody with my attitude or with the way I am. But I swear like a sailor in real life, and I know, yes, I am spiritual. I am, there's things that I'm starting my venture, my journey. I'm opening up into different aspects and ways of being spiritual. um, I'm not gonna lie, some things made me feel, some religions, I'm not gonna touch base on which ones or what it is or what, but I there are some things that made me feel, not that I'm saying that it is for people, but for some things for me, I felt too much in a box. I am a very um I say it like it is. I am not rude with people or things, but I have learned. I haven't always been like that. I have learned to be very open and honest. Some of that had to do with things that I've dealt with in the past. And in this, I'm talking about dragging it back to childhood. And so, fast forward, now I have kids of my own and I'm dealing with things. I've learned to be very open and vocal and honest with my kids. I don't, they've seen a lot. They went through a lot when came to my marriage, when it came to things that I was going through. So the best way that in my personal opinion, that I chose fit to raise my children was through honesty and openness. So I don't hide things. But in the beginning of the video, when I was talking about what I am, yes, but I don't feel boxed in with that. I feel I can still be who I am. It allows me to be who I am. It doesn't apologize for anything, because there are some aspects of ourselves that we just have to look at and say, hey, this may not be the best thing, but we got to learn how to work with what we got. And we got a lot of bad and a lot of good. All of us do, the yin and the yang. But we got to learn in the midst of all that how to bring balance. So I'm not going to sit here and cuss everybody out on YouTube, because you got to bring balance, right? So um, with that being said, I just wanted to pop on here with my Oracle deck and then kind of give you all a healing message. And this, like I said, I'm for some reason I feel really drawn to talk about the topic about, when it first hits and you first start going through, the waves of your divorce and things start to really settle. No one's coming back. You're not going nowhere. You're not going back. And it's kind of like you feel stuck between a rock and a hard place because you don't know what's going to happen. You just know you're stuck in these bad moments and these bad, situations. And so the heaviness that the day can bring, I know there's a lot of healing that people need when they're facing that. And there's a lot of affirmation, and just even if it's just me and you're watching me right now and you're feeling these feelings, if it's me telling you, it's okay to feel those feelings. It really is. It's okay. There's going to be people that are going to pull you out of that and try to, talk to you and give you their words of wisdom and advice, and that's great. But it's okay to feel what you feel, and it's okay to feel stuck. And actually, it's very healthy to not ignore those feelings, because, like I said in the first video, being trapped in stuff like that can really damage you. It could really bring you down and then make you have an explosive outcome later with other people, or make you do something really bad. It could lead to just bad decisions. But like I said, all of this stuff, in my opinion, what I was going through, for now that I look back, it's normal and it's okay to feel. It's you need to feel. It shows you're still human, you're still present on this earth, you still have some fight in you. You still have fight in you. That is exactly what I want to tell you. You still have fight in you. You get up and you take, even if it's just a bare minimum of fight that you feel, or you maybe feel you have none at all, but you know what? I'm here to tell you that you do. You have a lot of fight in you, and there is, we feel defeated and we feel like there's none left. There is no fight. What is she talking about? But yep, I understand. I understand, because I've felt that, and I have, oh, so okay, we're going this way to this way. Well, anywho, okay, so because I don't have a lot of room right here where I'm at. Um, so I'm trying to, okay, do the best that I can here with the space that I got. So I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle the deck. And with the energy, and it's not, maybe nobody's joining me at all on the live, which is fine, but that's not what this is about. This is about, who this is gonna, who needs this, and who it's gonna reach. And I know I've already set the intention out there that this is gonna reach somebody that really needs it. This is a healing message from my Oracle deck. It's the Mystical Healing Oracle deck. It's a really great deck. It's very helpful. I use this almost every day since I purchased it. Whoa. So, okay. I know a lot just spilled onto my computer board, but in my hands, one stood up. And for some reason, I've been pulling cards lately that just stand straight up in the deck, and they're kind of like I can have my deck like this, but they're pointing out in this direction, where, sideways, opposite way to where all the other cards are in. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, and then I'm gonna put my glasses on, because yes, I need my reading glasses. And we're gonna see what this is right now. I have a book for it. This is the book, and I'm gonna go ahead and flip the card over. Ooh, and it says, it's now, the images on these cards are very beautiful, very, very beautiful. I'm a big fan of artwork, and I mean, it's just all across the board. This Oracle deck is very old school, like Victorian style art, and it's beautiful. It's a lot of the human body, um, and it's really realistic. The anatomy, the way they drew everything, and then just the style, the era. Um, there's angels, and it's really nice. So so I got card number 3, and that's awaken your vulnerability. Now, I've ran into this card before. I've actually pulled this card before. So, awaken your vulnerability. Let's see. This is I think it's 3. Yeah, it is card number 3. Okay, so bear with me, I'm sorry. I don't there's, this is just not a straightforward type of oracle deck where it's gonna give you 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 words, and then it's pretty much straight to the point. This is the type where it comes with a book, and then the meaning is more significant, like, you really gotta it's a full page of what the card is trying to say. So, okay, so awaken your vulnerability, allow others to meet your unprotected heart. To be vulnerable with your feelings requires profound courage. Okay, now, real quick before I forget, because I don't want this to go out of my brain, but it's like in the beginning. Okay, so it's kind of taking it back to when I was not vulnerable. So now I took it back to when he left and I didn't have money and I couldn't afford anything but just to barely keep my lights on and I couldn't make mortgage. So they literally red tagged my house the day I got a phone call that the apartment I applied for, I got it. Talk about timing, right? But nothing is a coincidence, like I said. This literally, I came that close. So, but I was not being vulnerable. I was not being open. I wasn't welcoming the help in, even though I knew it was there. I was very stubborn. Like I said, my mindset, my head was not great, and it was causing me to make not clear decisions at all, like bad decisions. And but I mean, for the most part, the stubbornness in me caused me to not be vulnerable with people because I felt like, no, I did this to myself. I got to fix it. But also, too, there were some aspects where I kind of was more also looking at my children and where they grew up and the fact that because something stable just left their life, I felt like, why am I going to tear them away from the only stable thing that was left, which was where they grew up? All they knew, their friends at school, the school that they were in, their stability that way. I didn't want to pull them from that. And that was another reason why I chose to make the decision to just stick with it and try to fix it myself. But, anyways, and then fast forward, like I said, my parents having to come and grab me out of bed and then trying to talk to me, trying because I stopped communication. I stopped taking phone calls. I didn't want the talks. I didn't want to hear anything. I wanted to close off from the world, right? Okay, so to be vulnerable with your feelings requires profound courage and a decision to break the hard shell of protection that keeps you separated, isolated, and afraid of others. Vulnerability connects you to the most hidden aspects of your soul. And this exploration, you have the possibility of discovering your most intimate, delicate, creative, surprising aspects. This may require you to develop more understanding and compassion for yourself and your life's journey, whilst at the same time moving past the pain of rejection or abuse you may have experienced and which cause you to shut down. Whilst it's important to keep certain people at a distance, there are others who are already in or about to come into your life. These people can hold the space for you to step into a soft, honest, gentle exploration of your heart's melody. If you refuse and keep suppressing your feelings, okay, now pause really quick, suppressing your feelings. And I was just reiterating on this when I popped on about pushing what you feel deep down inside and not being uh open and honest and saying what you need to say. And, like I said, I chose to raise my kids in open and honesty and not sugarcoat stuff and to just say it like it is. And because if not, or if you choose to cut certain things off and not allow yourself to go through the motions that you're feeling, that it's important and it's healthy to do that. And see, this right here is also just reiterating on that, saying that it is healthy, to go back to, just go ahead and understanding what you feel and feeling those feelings and not suppressing them. Because suppressing them, like it says, you will become, it says right here, if you refuse, right, to be vulnerable and open up and be honest, not just with other people, but with yourself. This is more for yourself, your healing, what you need to do to move into that next step, right? This is part of alchemizing. This is part of taking those broken pieces of yourself and alchemizing those feelings into a better version of yourself, right? So it says if you refuse and keep suppressing your feelings, you will become exhausted, numb, frustrated, and cold. It's time to warm your heart and start to be more in touch with what's happening inside your body. Don't close yourself off to what you're feeling. It's okay to feel those feelings. Allow yourself to open your eyes and tell yourself, fucking, I hate what's going to happen today because I just don't want to deal with the day. But at the same time, don't stay in that mindset. See, now with me, I was going through all the emotions and I held on to it. And I held on to it all day every day and it was exhausting. I numbed out a lot of feelings because I didn't want to talk to anybody and I didn't want to deal and I didn't want to really recognize what was happening to me and what I was going through and the fact that I had already issues going on with myself. I didn't want to look at it, right? Didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with the day. So it says you can become exhausted, numb, frustrated, and cold. Okay. It's time to warm your heart, start to become more in touch with what's happening inside your body. What pain are you holding in your lungs, your heart, your throat, your kidneys in particular? Okay, so this is talking about what you hold inside. Like I said, it can manifest later on into an explosion, an outburst, a mental breakdown. You shut down, you explode on somebody. And bringing it back to the first video, how I had a Reiki session not too long ago. Like I said, this is part of my healing, right? So it's the journey that I'm on currently. I'm still healing. So not just you, are healing, I'm healing with you, okay? So I want you to know that I'm not in a place of I am holier than thou. Heck no, I am the last person. But I'm just trying to give you some insight, okay? Some stuff that I know helped me out and that I'm starting to see along the way, right? So it can lead. She told me when I went to my Reiki session, I was informed that at the very end, she told me, "Okay, these are the things that are going wrong." She informed me, there's things that weren't aligned. She was trying to align my third eye, my throat. These are chakras in your body. I don't know the exact details of the ins and outs of Reiki. I am not a therapist. I'm not a professional, but I have watch videos, listen to things, teachings, because I know there's some people that actually like to teach along the way and say, this is what I'm doing and this is why. And then it tells you how it affects your body. So, like I said, though, I'm not a professional, but I do know that when you hold and suppress a lot of feelings or you become numb or exhausted, my uh middle chakra and it was off centered. It was like she told me I was living in survival mode. um so she works with the pendulum, right? And the pendulum is supposed to swing a certain way to show that you're in balance. However, mine's was off the chart insane, and it all pointed to when she did the rest of my body, you are in survival mode big time. And that made sense, right? And that's taking it back to when I gave her kind of like a rundown into my past, the past 6 years in my divorce. I took it back to that because that's where it started. Okay, so things that you're going through right now, you could be accumulating those bad things and that bad energy in your body and then still hold on to that years and years later, like me, I'm one of those, and not even know it. And so that can, I kind of delve a little bit deeper when I went home and I kind of researched it. You can cause your body not just to be missed out of alignment and carry a lot of negative, stagnant, bad energy. It could mess with your finances. It can mess with your body, not just external things, but it can mess with the inside. It can mess with, like it's saying, your lungs, your heart, your throat, your kidneys. It gets to come out in different forms. Um, so my heart was also something that was off alignment. That wasn't too great. The throat, my third eye. Um, but anywho, fast forward. this is touching base. This card is touching base on everything that I've been telling you since before I pulled the card, because like I said, I kept having this nagging feeling, and I kept coming back to the same topic of, and that, and how I would say it in my head when I would feel it was, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to deal with today. And I kept in my mind reverting back to the feelings and the way I was feeling, how I felt. And so, crazy part, just a little fun fact. So, okay, so that's pretty much what this card is saying. And so, just to let you know a little bit further into me and what was happening with me at the time when I was feeling these feelings. I used to get this magazine, right, from a certain company. I'm not going to name the company, but I used to get this magazine, right? And I love flipping through magazines, whatever it is. I like looking at pictures, and especially if it's like a drawing or art or whatever, or just even real life photography of real places in the world. And so at that time when I was going through something, that something terrible in my life, I started tearing out pages of this magazine and I would put them on my wall. And I sleep, well, in my room at the time on that bed, I was sleeping and waking up on my left side. And so first thing when I would open my eyes, I was facing this wall. And the wall in my bedroom, because we were new to moving in there, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so it wasn't like I could, oh, just decorate and throw all kinds of stuff everywhere, and it was, wow, so nice, new house, new things. No, it didn't work that way. My room was just your basic dresser. I didn't even have a stand for my bed. My mattress was on the floor. So opening up my eyes to this blank wall, big blank wall, and my bedroom, mind you, it was crazy because it was so cold. That house was freezing. All the windows were old. That house was built, I think, in the 50s. And so 50s or 60s, but anyways, it was a really old house. So all that, the draft was just, it kept the house cold, and my bedroom was just super cold. And it almost describes the feelings I was feeling. It just went along with the whole vibe I was carrying, every day, waking up in that lonely bed and him not being there, understanding this is reality now, this is my life, and just that cold, dark place. And that's what that bedroom felt like to me. And then opening my eyes first thing in the morning to that empty wall, just looking at a wall with, you know, nothing on it. So I started tearing the pages out of this magazine I'd get, and I got this idea, and I don't know where I got it from, but I guess, oh, you know what? No. Now that I'm thinking back, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So I got a download right now. You do remember. It was uh having this feeling in me that I would love to get out of here and go far away. Oh my goodness, these are real feelings, everybody, real feelings. And so it's coming back to me in a wave, like a waterfall. But this time it's not a bad one. I'm sharing it. And so it I wanted to be far away, anywhere but there, and just take my kids and go somewhere beautiful and open my eyes up to Tahiti or Greece or uh, Ireland, the greenest of green spaces, um, Antarctica, even just looking at the abundance of beauty and snow. And so I started to really, like, that idea really just latched onto me for some reason. And I just really just said, well, I know that my reality is that I can't do those things, but one day that I will. And I kind of put my mindset to, I can't do it now, but one day I will. And that little tiny piece of hope that I grabbed onto at the moment, I didn't realize how much. Now, like I said, I still have more things that I want to share, but right now I grabbed onto that. And so I started tearing the pages out of the magazine and putting them on my wall. And there were pages of, uh, I'm talking rows and beautiful. scenery of flowers and uh, just rosemary and sage, lavender. Actually, it was a field of lavender that I found, and it was just beautiful rose, and I mean acres of it that you could just for miles out, and then you just see the sky and the lavender. And so that was beautiful. And so I put that on my wall. I put pictures of the mountains. I don't know what mountains exactly, but just mountains. And there was a person hiking along the very top of that. And it's like a zoomed out shot, and all you see is the shadow of that person with the sun that's about to set but hasn't quite got down but gone down yet, but it's like you're catching their shadow up top that mountain, and it was beautiful. And, actually, I think I did pull a picture of Ireland, and that was green fields for just hills of green for days, and that is beautiful, and so I held on to these, and so every day, instead of opening my eyes and looking at a cold space of nothing, that kinda made me feel like it would put me back into those deep feelings, those dark ones when I was opening my eyes to that. So I switched it up, and pasted a bunch of different, and I look forward to getting this magazine, in the mail because of that. And so I started to pull them and put them in my surroundings, at the time, I didn't know about vision boards. I didn't know about like I didn't know about putting things that you want to manifest for yourself, or manifestations a very big thing with me. I didn't know anything about that, nothing at all whatsoever. I didn't know what I was doing when it came to all that, but I didn't know that at the time I was, about to put some of these things into my life. So I woke up to a piece of beauty on my wall instead of a piece of, cold darkness. And so um, I thought that was quite interesting. Okay, hold on one second. Um, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so I started to do stuff like that to kind of pull myself out of my funk a little bit, and like understanding and realizing also my feelings, and starting to see how bad I was sucked into this abyss of not wanting to get out of bed. And then I remember when my parents had came over, and I didn't want to share things with people, and I didn't want to be vulnerable at the time. But looking back, people that want to come in and try to shed a little bit of sunlight, even if it's through a magazine or it's through a person or people or family or friends, as long as it's positive and it stays in a positive aspect, it could really help you. Um, so like uh places were getting me out of my it's starting to help me be a little bit more vulnerable, seeing that one day maybe I can go to this beautiful place, you know and it was almost like a form of hope for me. And it started to make me feel a little better, and even if it was just for maybe the first 10 minutes of opening my eyes and staring at what was in front of me on that wall. But like I said, my parents, looking back now, them wanting me to be more vulnerable and me not allowing myself, I wish I could have done it a little bit different and maybe tried to be a little bit more open about things. I think back then, I'm not gonna lie, I think I was being a little bit mean, and I didn't mean to be mean, but I was being a little bit mean with other people that really loved me, and I was being really mean with myself. And when it comes to, thinking that way and saying, you know, kind of just like taking that vulnerability and saying it's okay to be a little bit open today. And, you know, it's okay to like, I don't know why, but I got somebody buying you coffee, somebody handing you a cup of coffee. I don't know if that's already been done before or offered and you said no, thanks, or you just don't want to take anything from anybody, or you don't care, you just don't want the gesture, or maybe you're looking at it from a different light. Maybe it could be somebody, maybe a male friend offering you that, and you're like, oh God, I'm done with guys, just get away from me. Because I know I've done that millions of times where there's just actually genuine nice people out there that are just trying to be nice and they happen to be of the opposite sex and I'm totally being mean. I'm taking it to a whole nother level in my brain, like, oh, get away. No, I don't want your coffee. No, I don't want you to talk to me. Look away. I know I have done that and that's horrible. But you know, your brain, it puts you into all these aspects of like you can't even think straight anymore and you're just everything is a threat, you know, you can't be vulnerable for the life of you. But yeah, and, you know, it doesn't have to be with people. I think my vulnerable aspects, you know, started with, you know, taking something like places or things that you love. Um, you know, I love pictures and photography and art. And, you know, I was taking a piece of myself that was hidden for many, many years and kind of pulling it to the surface and saying, "Oh, you know," and starting with a thought, a hope that I would love to be anywhere but here. But then it led me into other, well, maybe one day I can go to these places. I mean, why not? And then, you know, and then it kind of it made me it put my heart in a little bit of a different space, even if it was just for a few minutes of after waking up. It made me feel a little bit better waking up and looking at the lavender on my wall and how beautiful that was, or looking at the mountains, or looking at the green and the scenery. It transported my mind, and even if it was just for a minute, it that was healing, and I didn't know. I wasn't aware that I was doing that to myself or for myself. I wasn't aware that I was becoming a little bit vulnerable to, you know, the fact that I am feeling bad and I need to get out of it. But it was helping me to get to a more vulnerable space of, you know, recognizing things. And, you know, like I said, family, I shut off. And if I could rewind time and go back, I probably would have allowed my parents to come over a little bit more. I probably would have answered the phone a little bit more. But with that does come, you know, you want to make sure you're putting yourself in a positive setting, something that makes you feel comfortable. And yeah, and it's okay to tell people, like, if you're not ready to talk about certain things, or, you know, it's okay to say it. And I think I was running from that too, not being vulnerable, because I was running from the fact that just things I didn't want to talk about. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to put my mind back there. But you know, it's okay to sometimes, you know, it's okay to put yourself in a spot of accepting that coffee from a friend or just somebody being nice. It's okay for, you know, for allowing yourself to like be vulnerable with liking something in general, because and when you're going through crap, you feel like crap and you hate everything. You know, I did. I didn't like the good stuff, the nice stuff. I was pessimistic and I had the shittiest attitude. Shittiest attitude. I don't I I wasn't a fun person. Um, you know, and I definitely wasn't opening to meeting people and putting anything else in my life that I couldn't even take care of myself. So I was like, no, not trying to invite or do other things, you know. But sometimes, like I said, it could be right down to the little things, that little cup of coffee, that little uh putting up the art, or putting up something that you like, or being open to the fact that, you know, it's okay to like something today and to want to feel okay to put myself in a headspace of, you know what, I do feel like shit, but I'm gonna do something, even if it's for 2 seconds, that I like, that will maybe make me feel a little bit better. But I do recognize that I'm feeling like shit, and this is why I'm gonna do this for myself. You know, and the more that we can become comfortable with the vulnerability and the fact that it's okay to take the good and the bad. It's okay to, you know, feel sandwiched in between the both, but not don't lean so much into the shadow aspect of yourself where you're leaning more into the depression or the anxiety. It's okay to pull yourself out of it sometimes and be vulnerable. If you do feel like talking about something and something is on your mind, and maybe at the time a friend or a family member or somebody invites you out, somebody calls and happens to say, "Hey, you want to go out to dinner?" Don't run from it. You know, that may be your opportunity to open up and be a little bit vulnerable with people. Um, they may not even pull you out for that reason. Cause I know sometimes I stayed away purposely because, like I said, I don't want to talk about things. And I don't, oh, if I go over here, they're all going to bombard me with questions. And I don't want to freaking answer anybody's questions. I don't give a shit right now, you know? So, but, in the end, it's okay because, like I said, you don't want to pin yourself up in such a hard place where you stay in that bad negative mindset 24/7 that it starts to make your body feel more sick. It keeps you in the depression, it keeps you in anxiety, it keeps you in the I also had a very hard time trusting people. And so the vulnerability aspect was very hard for me because of the trust I had. I People were the enemy, enemy 101, people, everybody and anybody. Somebody could look at me, "Hi," and I would look at them like, "So fake. So fake. Don't even, like, don't come to me with the hi, because you're probably a shitty ass person, so don't try to fake the funk with me, because you're probably the worst person on the planet." That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. I was sketch with everybody. I was, like, looking side eye with everybody. Like, why did you say hi to me? Why are you giving me this cup of coffee? Why no, stay away from me. It was bad. So with that being said, it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay though to also, embrace the good and the bad, embrace the bad feelings, but also grab a good feeling and embrace that too. Bring the two together to bring yourself into a little bit of alignment. Don't tip to one way to the right or to the left. It's all about balance, right? But I didn't know that. I didn't know a lot of things. So just a little insight, just a little fun tip. And this is all just to personal opinion, learning experience, been there, done that. I haven't been through everything, done everything, but I've been through a lot, enough to share. And so that is what I've been feeling these past couple of days since my first video, to touch base on that certain topic. And so I really hope that you like the insight, and I hope that you could take away some stuff that I discussed today with you. I really hope that you could find yourself in a little bit of a safer space when you open your eyes in the morning. However, that may be for you. That's the way it looked for me, but in everyone's situation, it could be different. It could be different. Your thing to kind of pull on that is good. That will get you into a vulnerable space mentally and not be so harsh with yourself, because that's what we're really doing at the end of the day. We're being hard on ourselves, harder than what we have to be. And let's face it, the world is already hard enough, right? I mean, there's a lot of things going on that, you can say, oh my gosh, it's already bad enough around us. So don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to understand that, you know, understand that it's okay to maybe accept the help or accept a little bit of that advice, or be at least open to it. It's okay to put up that vision board. It's okay to put up those pictures. It's okay to say, I'm going to make myself feel a little bit better today, however that may be. If you feel that you want to do something, um, go somewhere. Uh, Even treat yourself to a nice dinner, um, or do something you know you maybe you haven't done since your divorce, because that you feel there's no room to take care of yourself. because that's what it all leads back to at the end of the day. This is all healing messages for us because it's a way to take care of ourselves. This is self care, self love, healing. When you're healing your body mentally, physically, spiritually, your soul, when you're nurturing it, you know, trying to get yourself out of a bad place, these are all great things to do for yourself. Do not be overly harsh on yourself and say you don't deserve it, you don't need it, or everybody else in my path is the one that, I need to be focused on. We all have, we all have those times where maybe we feel like, nah, I'm not in a space right now to treat myself to anything. But you know what? You are. You are. And you're okay to feel vulnerable, and you're okay to put yourself in a better headspace when you wake up every day. You're okay to feel in a little bit of a better mood, if however that may be for you. It's okay. It's okay to do that for yourself. So um just wanted to touch base with you guys again for a second video because like I said, I don't want to just pop on here and then be like, okay, wait, what am I doing? I kind of like to have things either sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's not, but it's just nervousness for me because it's alive and I don't want to be like a deer in headlights, like, whoa, okay, wait, what am I talking about? So I gave myself some time to really pull in, what I was feeling and what was really what I was thinking and what kept tugging at me. And so it was that topics. And so the vulnerability that just went deeper into what I was saying. So I hope this was a little bit healing for you today. I hope this brought a little bit of insight. And I hope this pushes you into a better healing direction for yourself. Love yourself, take care of yourself, be good to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. Everything is okay. It's okay to feel, and it's okay to feel the good and the bad. It's okay to but it's also okay to steer yourself out of the dark, because that's the only way that you're gonna get pushed in a direction of healing. So if you can embrace what I'm saying even faster than what what I did, I didn't get this in the beginning myself. I wish I did, but it just my journey didn't pan out that way. So if you can and embrace that, and you can take this with you today, and invite it into your life a little bit faster to start on your process of healing a little bit faster, um, then that's great. That's really great. And is, that's amazing because I know the journey is hard. Divorce is hard, let alone other things that may be going on with people personally. There's a lot of things, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for joining me to whenever you see this, because it's not just about me being live right now. It doesn't What matters is whenever you see this, it was meant for you. It was something you needed to hear, and I am 100%, I believe that all the way, no matter what. It was meant for you. And so, thank you again. And I really hope that you do join me again for another, maybe another live. I don't. I'm thinking that I kind of like the way this is going so far. I just hope that this live sounds as good as the first one, because I know the first one you could hear me. That I was really scared about that. I know it's Mercury retrograde. I'm not an astrologer, but I know when things like that are going on, it gets chaotic with the technology world. Uh, and like a lot of things happen, your volume goes out, the picture gets blurry, the whole live shuts down. I don't know, there's just crazy stuff. But anyways, thank you so much, and I really hope and pray that you have a great rest of your day, and you really connected with me. Thank you so much, and have a good one. Till next time, see you again with some more little insights and healing tips. And I hope you can join me. Thank you.